federal appeals court has ruled that works created entirely by AI cannot be copyrighted. It's a big deal, but there are some very important caveats to this story that you have to understand to get the full picture. So let's look at three things to know. So first, let's look at what happened here. Basically, this case boils down to the work of an artist named Stephen Thaler. He created something he called the Creativity Machine, which is an AI system. This is basically predating today's modern systems for generating content. It goes all the way back to 2012, and it created this painting that is titled A Recent Entrance to Paradise. So it's entirely a generative AI creation. Again, this is something any of us can go and do now. And for a long time, Thaler has been trying to get copyright protection for this painting. Now, let me add the caveat here. I am not an attorney. I am an AI expert, so take any of this with your own attorney's advice. This is not legal advice. But basically what it seems to boil down to here is that he's not able to get copyright protection for this painting. And the reason for that is that it was created by a machine. So the second piece to know here is that in order for you to get a copyright on a painting or any other kind of creation in the United States, it needs to be a human who made it. And there's been some really weird cases that have tested this. There was a monkey who took a picture of himself with a camera that a photographer had given to him or that he picked up. And the photographer tried to apply for copyright on behalf of the monkey. And this was turned down for the same reason, that you got to be a human in order to get a copyright. And so that's what the Copyright Office keeps saying back to Thaler is, okay, this is created entirely by a machine, so you can't copyright it. It just doesn't have a human author, and that's the reason there. But the third thing to know is that this doesn't have as big an impact on actual human creators who might want to use AI in their process and copyright their works as you might think. The headline is, okay, you can't get a copyright for AI work, but that's not exactly what the Copyright Office has actually said here. Thaler really seems to be trying to test the boundaries. This is a case where he's working to try to kind of set a new precedent for what can and can't be copyrighted. He's not the sort of traditional human artist who maybe used AI for part of the work. They made some tweaks, they made some changes. Maybe they used AI for ideation and then made something themselves, and now they're wondering, hey, can I get copyright protection? He is straightforwardly saying, I didn't do anything in terms of the actual making of this painting. It's 100% created by this creativity machine. He feels that it's sentient. He feels that it's its own entity and should be able to get the copyright. Again, that's not how most people use AI. And so what the Copyright Office said, and this appeals court has added back in here too, is, look, if you said, I used AI to help make this, but I did a bunch of stuff myself, we might still be able to give you copyright protection for it. It's not that having any AI is necessarily a problem. It's just if AI is literally the only author of this, that is a problem for us, and we're not going to give you protection. So again, that headline is a little bit more nuanced in reality. If you're a digital artist and you use Midjourney as a jumping off point, and then you take what it creates and create a collage with your own works, or you do a bunch to change that piece that it created, or you add something into it, or you print that out and post it on the wall or something, call that artwork, that might be protectable. And so Thaler is really looking at this pure case of just AI. But for most artists, that's not what they're really looking at. And so it's, I think, most interesting here because the Copyright Office said no to him, but held out the possibility that if you use AI in a process and you disclose it, and there's a lot of human work going into a piece too, you might be able to get copyright protection for that ultimately. That's a shift, that's a change, and that's something that I think is much more impactful for actual artists who are doing this kind of work on a day-to-day basis. You might be able to get protection ultimately for something as long as you, as a human, had a big role in it, even if you used AI as an assistant. And this applies to visual arts in this case, but this would presumably also apply to a novelist who used AI to help write part of their novel, but not the whole thing. Or maybe to a blogger who wants to protect a blog post where the AI created the outline, but they went ahead and actually wrote the words. So interesting, definitely a very clear decision so far, although Thaler does say that he plans to continue to appeal this, maybe as far as the Supreme Court. If it's just a machine, the machine can't get protection. But if you as a human use the output of an AI machine and you add your own humanness into it, there's a possibility you could get the kind of copyright protection that helps you turn this into something you can sell, you can market, and you can ultimately make money from. If you found this helpful, please do subscribe to the channel, like the video. It really does help me out, and I can share more of these updates and analysis with you.